Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to another small video. Now the intention of today's video, it's mostly about practical pills and teaching about patience, discernment. We'll touch briefly upon supporting one another and the divine and the human component about that. The content or most parts of this video are more for intermediate or advanced soul and level of understanding when it comes to dealing with energies and spirituality. However, very welcome for beginners to have a listen as well and see what you resonate. Let's remember, when we learn anything, when we absorb, when we listen, when we experience through life, things go in several layers. And so even the same book that you read so many times, every time as you keep evolving and progressing, it will lend to a different degree. The relationship with a friend or a partner, your own ability to heal your own trauma, your own self, or to grow, to develop beautiful skills will go in layer. So feel welcome also to reapproach concept. If those are too much for you today, they may land within you at a different level in the future. I first want to make a disclaimer also to give a little bit more context. And the context is also for people that say, or that think that channeling or mediumship, I'll use myself as a practical example. Those who say, okay, you're channeling, so this is what you want to do, or this is what you like doing. So let's make a distinction here between what one person likes to do and what is another mission or purpose or life remembering, because not necessarily are the same. And there are things in life that until you experience yourself, fairly so, it is hard to grasp and digest. And logically, it does make sense. If you don't go through, it's harder for you to grasp. Someone that is not yet a mother or a father may try to picture what does it mean to be a parent, but they wouldn't have the full experience. And so whether they can sort of share a sympathy with someone that is a father, they would lack the full experience. If they've reached the point in life where they go through, would be, wow, okay, now I see all the things that I was aware of and all the other things that I was not aware of that I could have had no chance to have a clue about. It's a bit similar. For me personally, the channeling, the psychic abilities, all the initiation path that is behind the camera and that I most keep behind the camera. I've been thinking about doing an initiation journal, to be honest. It is more of a soul remembering. It is more something that has been awakened. Now let's remember, each of us, with everything, it's like an expression of the divine. Is like a mathematical or technological function. If this, then what? If this, then what? If God wanted to try and have an experience of pure light and love, then what will unfold? If one would be in the middle, then what will unfold? If then, with everything. So with this, just acknowledge how much each of you is so unique. And each of you is just a unique expression. So there is the seed of the intention, as in what the divine wanted to experience through you in the incarnation. And then there is so much that is available to you, to us, in terms of free will, as we navigate through the lifetime. So with that free will, we can choose. Most of you are familiar with quantum jumping and choosing between timelines. We're not going to go into this video, but let's just remember, we can choose, we can redirect the path as we go. When there are themes or things that call us, they might be important. So there may be an importance for the soul to experience those things. For me, the synchronicities, the signs from my own channeling, from other people, from strangers, from signs in the material surroundings have been so many through the years that it was clear that there was this path calling me back. Now, the free will always merges very beautifully because I needed to decide, out of free will to decide. I needed to give my permission for things to happen and to say no to many other things and to welcome in other things. The discernment comes to discerning, to be able to distinguish, for example, what is in light and what is less of, what is true, what is false, what is half true. Because remember, with polarity, we have the two poles, the two extremity, and everything in between. And let's leave aside for a moment the level of good or bad, or good and evil. And again, take it as an experience. Remember that function, if then, everything is an experience, everything is a learning opportunity. As so, there are consequences that come There is a price to pay that comes to choosing integrity and to choosing to be and uphold the light. And there is a price to pay when we let go of integrity and when a path of convenience or powering over other or misleading is chosen. So this shall not be mistaken. There is always responsibilities. There are always cause and effect, as within, so without. And there is always a cause and effect for what we choose. The practical tip for those of you who are more advanced or intermediate with channeling or are just curious to learn more about channeling, the discernment comes with the ability also to recognize the signal that comes. This is no different. If you're not up at that level, just think about emotion and being reactive versus being responsive. So for example, if something happened with a colleague, with a family member, with the public, just within the environment around you, and you are triggered by something, notice whichever emotion comes up. And is that truly yours, or is that a response from the environment around? So just that discernment between, does it belong to you, or is it external? Is it something external that is coming at you, triggering, and you're not aware, you're unable to discern, and you just project and vomit that back to others? So with awareness and consciousness, beautiful steps to evolve yourself are really there. With the energies is exactly the same. What is coming? Is that your own intention, or are you channeling something? Now you're receiving, the difference is it's not something that you would actively have thought about. It's more something that you receive. This could be received by vision, this could be received by auditory, by sensation, by a sense of knowing, but different sensation, different senses leveraged together. Me personally, I get the sensation, I get the auditory, I get the cognizance, so the knowing, and at times there are vision, this could be veiled, this could be more specific and precise. Everyone is different, and so that the communication, the senses would communicate in a way that makes sense for the self. So there is always that subjective component in the way the message is received. We can go deeper into this another time when it comes also to intention, when channeling. When the stimuli, the download, or the channel message comes, it's so important to discern, who is this? Where is it coming from? What is intentional behind it? One of my beautiful teacher, Constance Messner, not directly, but just for public, thank you so much, Constance, for sharing all the material online. This is one very simple technique that you can do. Anytime you have a sensation, a thought, a download, a channel, throw it light, and if it shrinks or fades off, then that could just spot out that there was a false light or misleading or a lower frequency. If it sparks up and brightens up and upholds the light, then that is true authentic light. This is one way to test discernment. There are many others. This is a technique I don't use much. I do use several other tools. The patience and the truth, the strength, the courage, the relentless, the resilience to look within and just be honest. It takes also that truthfulness. When I was saying there are consequences when you choose the light or when you choose the other path. If you choose the light, you will be tested. And very wise sentence that was channeled to me from someone else. Spirit guides, anytime you say I am, what you put after the I am, spirit guides, source, universe will test you. Will test you to see, are you sure? Is that really true? So for example, if you say, I am a person of integrity, that will be tested. In some of you, less than others. God bless, there are several examples that are just here to all that benevolent frequency, and they're always surrounded and protected by higher beings and benevolent. And there are others that if then function, there are others that even though that protection is available to everyone, they are left to test, to face, to uphold and to face both the light and both the darkness. And for whatever reason, that's also my path. And it takes being very grounded. So there is much work that is happening with our energy and our collective, but it really takes mature, advanced skill to remain grounded and to remain sane, because the energy experience has to be merged with the human experience in this human incarnation. This is why we're here. So back to the discernment, when the stimuli, when the download comes, is this the light? Is this true or is this false true? Remember, in a more advanced level, energies, it's like with people. You may have the ones that you can clearly see they're with bad intention, and there would be the ones that are very expert in wearing a mask. And so they may present in a way that sounds right, looks right, but there would be something that very subtle, tiny signal, bells of bringing the truth within you that is saying, I don't know what it is, but something is not feeling quite right. With energy channeling, it is the same. And so if you're intermediate with your skills, just be aware and be patient that when things come, even if you're excited, maybe you're waiting for guidance yourself. If you're channeled publicly, if you have a YouTube channel or channel for other, maybe you're eager just to share messages. Take a moment, pause, look within. Surrender and patience. Only what is of the highest light and the highest truth can come through me and to me and through me to others. And pause. With no judgment for yourself or others, pause. Let go of any expectation, let go of any projection from yourself or from others. Pause and look within and analyze with whichever energy or message you are channeling. Is this fully true? And go. Check for a yes or a no. Checks, the way of God, is checked 3 times. So, for example, you would ask, is this the truth? You may have a yes. Is this the truth? You may have a yes. Is this the truth? It has to be a yes also the third time. Sometimes, especially with misleading light or half-truths or malevolent misleading energies, you may have a no. And sometimes I get a no, and then I get like, ha ha ha, an evil laugh at the back. All that is has to do with channeling messages. So let's not be naive. Let's do not think that there is only the light. We're here to experience polarity. We're here to experience the roughness and the beauty of every single flow that is between the 2 poles of anything. So, courage, discernment, uphold the light within, stay in the light, and with no expectation, if it's not of the higher light, just send it off. Send it off. There are also ways to clear and to deal with that for another video. But have the power, have the strength to send them off. Clear, continue to clear. You can call in for your own energy to shield yourself. You can call in for advance, higher help. Some of you, whether it's Archangel Michael, Raphael, Archangel Metatron, Ashtar Command, and the Galactic Federation, for those of you dealing with higher collective and energies not of this realm, those can be good practical help. Shall I talk about a minority? Let me get a nudge on this. If you want, mindful of time. Okay. This is a very tiny percentage, very, very tiny percentage of the audience. If it's you, I would love to see a sign from you. Feel free to reach out even in private. There are people you do call for protection, and that is not there. You might be on a different path. You might be on a different initiation path. Now, let me open something very important. This is for everybody. This is for everybody, even if you do not channel, even if you call yourself not a psychic, which everyone is, because everyone we do have a psych, we are a soul incarnated in the body. So these are abilities that are open to everyone. So even if you have closed the box of those abilities and you're just going for your life normally, let's do not be naive and take responsibility. You cannot just wish to call the light and to call protection and then go off and linger or marinate yourself into pity or suffer or resentment towards others. Balance. And remember, as within, so without. So you have to be truthful in looking within your own self and take responsibility for your thoughts, your deeds, your emotion. Which frequency are you sustaining? In normal life, as in channeling, whichever collective or even mediumship is a form of channeling. So passing through messages from people that are passed away. Every time, we also need to take responsibility and look within as we look without. What are we doing? What are we projecting out? We cannot expect for things to go beautifully, for things to work out magically, if we spend most of the time in lower frequency thoughts of vibration. We cannot pretend, okay, I'm just going to do a healing meditation for my body to heal, and then I'm going to completely disregard my health or avoid doing the things that I should be doing, like eating healthier, quit smoking, or spend more time in nature, breathing fresh air, breathing technique, functional breathing, exercise, and etc. Just self-love, giving that compassion to yourself. And so. As within, so without. So have the truthfulness to look within you and outside, whether you just want to improve your health, your relationship, your career, your finances, your life, or whether you are channeling, beginning, medium, or advanced, and you want to enhance your level of discernment. Supporting one another. This is a beautiful closure for this video. In supporting one another, so we said divine help, the light is always available to us. As everything, you need to give permission, you need to call. It is said God is very respectful. Unless you invite him, he may wait from outside. It's like a father that wants, or a mother that wants to respect the privacy of the child. And if your door is closed, They may not come in, but if you call them, they will be there for you with the highest love and the highest compassion and no judgment. And so in that way, it's the same. We are in a human experience of the physical body. There is the energy part, but we are also human. And so let's not be naive, finally, also in this. Many people just leave it to the divine. They would see someone asking for help. They would see something that is triggering or challenging or a situation that needs some intervention. And then what do we do? Many goes, oh, the government will think about it. Someone else will fix about it. I'm sure someone else did call the ambulance for that person. Or I'm sure divine guidance is going to be there for that lady or that man or whatever. The divine is in us. The divine is expressing in the incarnation through us. And so it's in each of us. And we do have the free will, always to be respected, but we do have that component of being able to choose. And if we see one another, if we see each other's light, then why not supporting one another? In these years where I've been channeling, and I channel several hours every day. The initiating pack is like a full-time job. Little parentheses on just for context for some of you who don't know me. I've been in the wellness and coaching for decades, and I'm still teaching to some degree at the gym. I still run quantum healing hypnosis session, offer psychic sessions, at times mediumship. But I also, in the past months, I've started a position as in a leadership position as a store manager with the staff, the inventory, and everything else, and all the responsibility that come with the role. And I joke at it sometimes because at times I think with all the things that I've been exploding psychically, with channeling and much more that comes with it, I think it's more like a reassurance for my family that I'm still a grounded human with logic and intelligence that is able to function with respect and love for others. And it's not all in the woo-woo, all in the energy. And that is where the energy has to match and to merge with strong foundation with the human experience. On top of this, I'm immersed, I'm awakened by energies, and into that 3 to 6 hours every day, every single day. There's no holidays, there's no rest period, that's every day. So it's not a hobby, it is a being, it is a path that has just blossomed and opened and knocked many times, and I've said yes, and so here we go. When it comes to support one another, it has become really clear that again, the responsibility and the invitation, it's within us. And so not everyone is at the same level, and the beauty with spirituality, it has nothing to do with if you study at Sydney University or if you study a course online, or whether you're 80 years old or whether you're 15, or if you're born in India or in Los Angeles. There's nothing to do with it. The wisdom, the depth of the soul has to do with much thing else, and that's also the beauty, because we all equal, we are all the same. And when we let go of judgment, we can realize that we are all so beautiful pieces of the same puzzle. And the puzzle could not be the same without each of us. So we are all part of that puzzle with different function in that if done purpose and functionality of experiencing everything in a beautiful unity. When you see someone, if you feel a nudge within you, this was a message channel recently, if you feel a nudge within you, there is a reason. Now you do want to apply discernment and you do want to test, is this in light or it is not? Once you have done the discernment within your own self, if it is in light, then know that there is a nudge. And you do have free will, you will be respected in the free will if you do not choose to follow that nudge. For example, put this comment for a friend, give a help to that stranger, say this word to that person, just hug someone, or do something for yourself. Follow that course or that person or that group. If you feel the nudge, go to that location. If you feel the nudge, then there might be a reason. There is a reason, 100%. There's no coincidence, really. Sometimes we want the rational mind to understand why. It is your right, so you can ask questions, but most often time it is not up to us to know. And when we surrender, we've done our thorough check. We know in the sermon, we know that nudge comes from the soul or from the light, and we follow through, then we can be amazed of the ripple effect, of the meaning that may have had for someone else, or all the ripple effect that would have been unfolded by one thing actioning another. So this is also especially if you call yourself just a good person, heart of gold, star seed, light worker, whatever, whether you use a terminology or not, if you see another person light, support one another. Yes, you can leave it to the divine, but there is also that component that you can do, and we are here to support one another. So this was a message that has passed through many times, and I wanted to share the opportunity to integrate that on this. We can also call. So this is something me and some dear friends that are also gifted with just open this ability that are available to everybody have started to welcome in. As in, this is a conversation that you can invite with your own soul or spirit guide, benevolent guidance. Show me. If I miss the sign, show me. Another key point that is always reinforced from spirit is spirit would lack, oftentimes, the experience and the full understanding of the density of the human body. So guidance is always available to us, but we've got all these layers like sort of cushioning or fogging the understanding. Always remember, it's a two-way communication. So you can receive, but you also can communicate. And if the signs are not clear to you, then ask to repeat under grace. Ask to repeat under grace, and you will have the nudges. If it's something is important for yourself or to others, and you do want to assist the people around you, then ask, hey, if I haven't got the nudge, please, with love, with patience, repeat it. This is a deal that I have done and stipulated with my spirit guides, which is, because they're always giving signs, right? So I said, give me the sign, and when I recognize the sign, I would say something. Or maybe it's just a thought, maybe I'm not speaking loud, but with my thought is like, yes, I've received, or I've seen. And so in that way, now we can understand better one another, and things have consistently started to improve. Maybe I missed the sign once, I receive the next time, and that improves that communication. So the communication can go two ways, even with your own soul guidance. I'll send you a wonderful day. Feel free to send any question or comment under the video or in private. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Ciao.